Up next on Usala Radio, presenting The Wall, a new show for parents and teenagers navigating through difficult topics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Edwin Desamore.
What's up, everybody? This is Edwin Desamore. Welcome back to another show, an episode of The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. We're not going to waste any time today. We have two special guests in the house. And before we introduce them, before we bring them out and let you know who we have in the studio, two folks that I am comfortable and safe saying they are friends, not just colleagues, not just associates, but they are good friends also. So as we get started, we're going to jump right into the topic introduction before we introduce our guest. Elijah, what is the topic introduction?
On the wall this week is our idea of building capacity for leadership. This conversation can be viewed from a lot of different perspectives, such as of being a leader of a group, or even being a parent, the leader of the family, and having to send your child off to college for the first time to lead themselves. Building capacity from within is a special topic because our capacity for leadership is exactly what makes us successful. So, how do we build capacity for leadership and success? Remember, the end of this show should be the beginning of your conversation. Conversations. Don't be afraid to tear down the wall.
That's right, folks. Don't be afraid to tear down the wall. The end of the show should be the beginning of your conversation at home. Now, in our studio today, Ken, would you introduce yourself and give us a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here. My name is Ken Tomzuk. I am the Director of Design and Engagement at the Make the World Better Foundation, MTWB, a nonprofit in Philly that partners with communities to raise stewardship and do capacity building through public space revitalization projects. So basically we meet a lot of great people and help rebuild playgrounds. It's like the best job in the world. And I grew up in Philly, Northeast Philly, like kind of Somerton is like my home, where I grew up. And I have a pretty special relationship with Mayfair and Holmesburg as well, close family members, and spent time there growing up. Otherwise just happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank
you. Stephanie.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm Steph Garcia. I also work for Make the World Better Foundation. I'm the engagement coordinator. So I get to work with wonderful Philadelphians all over the city and help them redesign their public spaces. I'm originally from Venice Beach, California, so West Coast, transplant, moved to the East Coast about 5 years ago. But I love Philly. I fell in love with it as soon as I moved here, so I'm super excited.
From Venice Beach to Philadelphia. You fell in love with Philadelphia. You're from Venice Beach. Okay.
Yes. I mean, I definitely miss California, but Philly is a special place in my heart.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And today in the show, in the background, we have Chicken Hawk, who's making it happen. And we have the man, Dylan. Dylan is the man who makes it happen, engineer,
Levy
the
doesn't like
magician.
being mentioned. He does not like being mentioned.
Yeah, Chicken Hawk doesn't like to be mentioned too much. Also, we have Elijah, as you heard in the house. And today we have Genesette. Welcome back, Genesette.
Hi.
We're going to force a little bit more highs out of her, but she doesn't like to talk. So, random question today. So before we get into our topics, we like to, break the ice a little bit. And for our fans that love different segments, we have people say, hey, I just listen to random questions and then I tune off. And that's okay. We have some people, we just listen to Ethical Dilemmas. And some folks, I like listening to the whole show. Whatever you like, it's fine with us as long as you tune on in. Random question today. What is something that makes you feel brave? Anybody want to take a shot at this first? What is something that makes you feel brave?
When there's like a cockroach when there's a cockroach and everybody's scared to kill it, so you're the only one that kills it.
So you feel like the hero when everybody's panicking because there's a cockroach.
Yeah, any type of bug, and then I'm the one who kills it, especially with him. And so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you stepped up a little bit because I know I've been in predicaments with you too. Like my kids are petrified of bugs. I've been in a car where I actually thought they were going to jump out the car when a bug came into the car and the windows are up, and they start panicking and yelling.
Because there was this time I was about to head to the basement, where the basement is where I hold my PS4 or the Xbox. I play a lot of games down there. It's like a whole gaming room I turned it into. Right at the bottom of the steps, I'm about to walk down. I see this huge cockroach. This isn't like the regular little cockroaches you see in Philly just scurrying around your house, like the baby ones. This one's big, like the ones you find in Mexico. It's like the Mexican jumping cockroaches that are like 8 feet long, like diving in your basement, like ready to come out and attack you. Like this thing was this big.
So was you brave at that moment?
Huh? Oh heck no! There's limits. There's limits.
There's limits.
All right, this thing was like back from like
Could it fly?
prehistoric age.
Can it fly?
I didn't want to find out. I did not want to find out.
You know,
and then so mom comes in. She sees the cockroach at the bottom of the stuff. She says, "You know what? Nobody's going down there. I'm not doing that either. We're just gonna wait until it leaves."
Oh my gosh.
I come back an hour later just to check because I really wanted to play the game. So I come back. It's not there at the bottom of the steps. So this is me. I'm tiptoeing down the steps, making sure it's not on the side of the steps or anything, so I can see, you know. And then I look around. It's gone. It's totally gone.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, wait, hold up. This is even more scarier. It just disappeared out of nowhere. Like, it's not under the couches or anything. Never encountered it again.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know, in the neighborhood they live in, sometimes in the summertime, them things fly around in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually on the block.
Right.
So a lot of times when I'm about to drop them off at home, it's just hysterical for me because they're, you know, a lot of times when you drop kids off, they're quick to run upstairs and they're looking at the steps. They're looking around. It's like they're looking for a robber or some type of crime going on. They're looking all around the neighborhood, and if they don't see anything, you see them flying right
You know what's
inside.
the crazy? One day we came home, there was a frog. Right there on the steps.
Yeah, I
a
remember that.
frog.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did this come from? We literally live Northeast Mayfair on Sheffield, and there's a frog here. There's no water located anywhere. There's the train tracks, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
but
does
you have the
this frog
creek, you have
come
Penny
from?
Pack Park, and you have the Delaware River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
How about
interesting.
they could travel all the way down here?
Ken, is there anything that makes you feel brave?
Yeah, I think maybe it's more of a time I feel brave than like something specific. I guess I always felt like being around like my brother and sister would make me feel brave no matter what. Like if we had to walk, like let's say you have to walk past a house with like a big nasty dog that you know is gonna like come barking at you anytime you walk by. If I'm with like people, that makes me feel brave. Like that community is like we could do anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Steph.
I think for me, I have like a specific moment that I felt brave in. For years, I wanted to like learn how to drum or do like dancing or stuff, and I was always really nervous and shy about doing that. So one day I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna put myself out there in front of all these people and do it. And then I just like loved it, and I was like, oh yeah, like I feel really great. No one else really cares, you know.
Awesome.
At the end of the day,
Awesome.
so yeah. I think
Well,
that's
thanks for
really
sharing that.
brave.
Jenna said.
If I win an argument with my mom or grandma, I feel very brave.
Oh,
I feel
wow.
very brave.
If you win an argument with your mom or grandma, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of
real
kids.
experience, especially with my father.
Mm.
It's hard to win an argument with him. I'm telling you that because he's always gonna come back with something new. I would say something. Look, I would say something to him. Then he always has to bring up something about the streets and back in his day and stuff. He always talks about how I'm on the phone, and that's when I come back at him with. He's always on the phone. We putting posts on Instagram with only one caption, one word on the caption, and then he wants to come back because you gotta watch what you post on Instagram. You gotta watch what you're doing. It's dangerous life out here, man. You gotta watch it.
That's a good impression of me, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Chico, anything that makes you feel brave? All right.
Yo-yo tricks.
I try to get something out of Chico. As for myself, what makes me feel brave some other times is if I hear inspirational speech. If I hear something that really hypes me up, if I hear something to start off my day, so many times in the morning time when I wake up and when I'm shaving and getting ready, I like to play, if it's not comedy to get me in a good mood, it's speeches that are inspirational. So I look for something that's inspirational. A lot of times I do end up posting that because hopefully if it does something for me, I'm hoping that it could do something for someone else. And it does make me feel brave when I feel as though when someone is talking about how they overcome something or they found certain techniques, you know, or skill sets to step to the plate because, you know, stepping out the door is sometimes scary. Going to work,
Yeah.
you feel intimidated, you know, and sometimes you have to put that fight face on to feel brave. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty interesting. Anybody on social media? Nobody said anything on that? They're afraid to say, you know, how they felt? Not yet? trying to get a voice out of Chicken Hawk. It's hard to get him in the background. All right, Elijah, what's up next on the wall with the weekly update?
Earlier this week, a 16-year-old boy walked into his high school 20 minutes before classes started, took out a pistol and shot 5 times. The boy shot 5 classmates and himself in only 16 seconds. Most of the school attempted to hide or run out of the building when they heard the shots. 2 of the students who were shot died at the hospital. Authorities are still investigating and are not sure what prompted the boy to go to school with a gun and open fire. As of Thursday, the gunman was still alive and in critical condition at the hospital. Questions asked. What do you think causes some kids to think that taking a gun to school is their only option? I want to take this.
You guys want to take that?
This is something I've been just thinking on about this. This is happening so much. And they get looked at as the bad guys. Yeah, they walked into the school with a gun. Yeah, they're shooting people and all that. But they don't even realize what really urged that kid to do it. Maybe it's not his fault, but it's the kid's fault who bullied him all those days. Maybe the people who have messed with him, something with in his personal life, family matters, somebody that he loved died, just some crazy stuff, and everybody wants to blame him, saying that he's crazy, he's psycho, he has a gun, he shot my daughter, you know what, he deserves to go to prison for life. Maybe he does deserve to go to prison, because maybe he didn't think really straight, but at the same time, really find out, I think, in my favor, we have to find out who urged this kid. We should put the kids who urged this kid, who bullied him, and give them punishment. Because they're the real ones that are really making all this stuff happen.
So you feel as though, in a case like this, many other people should be held accountable, not just him.
Yes.
Like,
and
he's to be held accountable.
Yeah, but
we need to look into what drove or what caused this type of behavior, and maybe hold other. You got a point there.
Yeah,
you really think about.
I agree with you. I think we should give more respect and focus to victims of violence like this, and at the same time, I think like what I hear you saying is that they're probably not the only victims in this situation, and that many times, especially with youth, the amount of pressures and stresses on them that is really something that's either being like put on them by society or just by their immediate environment is what's causing them to act or behave in these ways, or maybe reach a level where they lose self-control. And so I think your point is really valid, that there are many victims in the situation, and it's not it might not be the most simple thing to address that and think about it that way. It might just be easier to blame the person who committed this act rather than try to like really take a look at society and try to adjust what's causing it in the first place.
One more thing. I want to say this to the people who are listening. If you want to look at these people, remember, everybody's struggling. A lot of people struggle less, and a lot of people struggle more. So before you go saying something, or before you do some action that's really dumb, and it's going to make probably the other person look dumb, really think, because you're about to ruin a life, take a life, or even take multiple. So just think.
Thank you. Genesis, what's your thoughts on this?
So he might have had stuff happening at home, but again, he shot 5 people that most likely were innocent and killed 2. So that's my he might have stuff happening that was wrong with him and stuff, but
there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse to kill 2 innocent people though.
You're right.
That's my thing.
Okay. And looking at from me sitting back and listening to 2 young people talk about this from 2 different backgrounds. What I mean by that, like Elijah, I'm an advocate in many ways, but trying to get the bigger picture. I think, and then Genesis comes from a family of law enforcement, right? Her mom's a law officer, so I could hear that cop come out of her.
Hey.
No, they shot 2 people, they going to jail, or they shot innocent people. No, and you have a point there, because that person could be any of you. That person could be, your brother, your sister. For those listening, it could be your children. I think it's a people need to be mindful, not just the kids that are doing the bullying. I think that it's a parent's responsibility, also a parent or a guardian, to make sure that they instill good values in their children, to make sure that they're not bullying. And if they hear that their child is bullying, they need to hold their own child accountable before these things happen. Like, let's treat each other with kindness. Was that kind? I got a call from the teacher, I got a call from the dean or the principal, and I heard that you were acting this way or treating a kid this way. And, I wonder sometimes how many parents actually sit their children down and do that, or just brush it off, or just punish them. Punishment is just not the answer to that. Sit down and have a discussion about why you shouldn't be bullying. Because a lot of times a child will be like, well, I got caught today, I just got to be a little bit more slick because I got punished. But it's not about punishment. Not telling your kid, I'm going to punish you if you do that again. Explaining to them why you should not be a bully. So this is pretty deep. And I also agree with Elijah. I think a lot of these cases happen, not, it's taken to mental health also. But a lot of times it's tough. Middle school, high school, even elementary is tough for anyone. And to watch children have to, some kids go through so much at home already. But then to go to school where you should be safe, you should be going to school so you could be learning, but you got to take on the verbal assault, sometimes physical. And after a while, that becomes a ticking time bomb and is a recipe for disaster. Now, it's not just about holding kids responsible that we're doing the bullying, but how do you hold the administration, the staff responsible? Because how many schools look past that? Because they feel as though they're overwhelmed. Now, how can I deal with this bullying? Because I got 80 other bullies in the school. But it's still your responsibility to come up with some type of a plan to prevent and attack this. It's not always about punishment, but it's changing the mindset and changing the norm, because norms are everything. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
This is something that is not tolerated. So when you have other kids checking other kids, saying you want to respect when you come in here and watch how you talk to other folks. But a lot of times, again, when a kid brings a gun to school, that is a problem.
Yeah.
And we need to also work on kids who are being bullied. We need to give them an outlet, because obviously they feel as though somebody's not listening to them.
Yeah.
And this is the only way I'm going to be listened to. So before we move on to that, Steph and then Elijah, do you have anything on
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I agree with a lot of the points that were said. I mean, his actions and his words had like a consequence on these people and these families. Lives were lost. But at the same time, I do agree it's like a systematic failure. I mean, like you said, these conversations should have been had long time ago. Like if there were red signs or things like that, that should have been noticed as well and taken care of. So I think it's just a really complicated question. And I think a lot of what has been mentioned is things that I agree with.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that. Let's not, I'm not going to go there, but let's not always blame the parents. People might blame the parents a lot for this stuff, thinking they don't treat them right. But we got to remember, everybody suffers. The kid might be hiding. Everybody hides their emotions at one point in their life. The parents might be suffering so much to not even realize it. And y'all ever watched a movie or heard of Saint Romero or something like that?
No, I don't know.
But it's like a movie about a saint and how his people suffered. There's this line from the movie that really got me. But I'm going to use it in a different way. We are all like Jesus, but most of all, parents are like Jesus. Because they're suffering for others. They're suffering for their people. Then they take the suffering. And not all the time they may, realize how their people are feeling, how the people are doing, So, but they still do suffer for them.
Mhm.
So we got to remember that.
No. And I thank you for sharing that, and that's pretty key. Before we go to a commercial break, I just want to put this out there. I know gun laws are a big issue with a lot of folks, but a lot of times that's not just the answer. It's not solving everything. We should look at why are people picking up guns. We need to use another strategy. It's not just about do away with guns, because it's so controversial, it's so political. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, if you want kids to stop smoking cigarettes, we started a campaign talking about this is what it does. This is what it does to your health, and then you have folks who are saying, I don't want to smoke. But I think we should take that type of approach also about you picking up a gun, and this is what can happen. When you think you're safe. I said this on the show before. If you want people to fear you, if you want people to respect you, pick up a book. People would be more scared of you with a book in your hand than a gun. That's my opinion on that. Because you're more dangerous with a book in your hand than a gun. Knowledge is power. And people really respect and fear people who are, educated. When someone walks in the room, they're going to make sure they come out like, oh, this person's showing up, so you better have your stuff right. And we're going to talk about it a little later on when we deal with community meetings and stuff like that and how we empower people with power within. This is Edwin Desimore. You listen to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons on USLA Radio. We're going to a commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Being prepared is a part of who you are. But it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. This is Edwin Desimore. We're live on USLA Radio. All right. Next up, a lot of fan favorites, Ethical Dilemma. Ethical Dilemmas. You want to give it a shot, Tatiana?
Okay, well, hi, I'm back. Wait, I don't even know what it is. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Your best friend makes fun of your 8th grade math teacher every day. Usually it is just when the two of you are alone. Other times he does it when you're with friends. He even gets smart in class, making fun of your teacher. Your response is usually to laugh along, whether you're alone with your friend or when he does it in front of your teacher. But it starts to get old, and you no longer find his actions funny. You don't know what to do. You mention your thoughts to your friend, and he tells you to lighten up, and it's no big deal. What do you say or do? Why?
I'm interested to hear from the young folks on this.
I don't want to take this already.
Go ahead.
I'm going to be totally honest. Totally honest. No, there's always going to be people in the world that you do not get along with. It may be a teacher, it may be a colleague, a coworker, anybody. Anybody at all. Your boss, you might not even like. You might not even like your brother or your sister or your cousin, you know. So it really, you're not going to get along with everybody. But I'm not saying that you should always just, you know, be smart, make fun of whoever it is, you know. Because at the end of the day, think about what that person's doing for you. it's your boss. They gave you that job, and they're getting you money. It's your teacher. They're teaching you. They're making sure that you're on the right path. I mean, yeah, we all had that point in life where we might have gotten smart with a teacher, we might have gotten mad because we really disliked them. It all happened. Better nod your head.
Okay.
Because we know.
Yeah.
It all happened to us. But you have to remember, and yeah, it may happen a lot, but there's limits. Because if you really realize this, you want to grow up your life doing this, because watch, one day you're going to do that. One day you're going to get smart. One day you're going to make fun of somebody. Let's say you graduated. Your teacher's out on their first, like, oh my gosh, it's you. You want to make fun of them. Pow. Get out. There you go. That's it.
The world is small. Go ahead, Tatiana.
Okay, so basically to answer the question, I'm not going to lie, but there was only one teacher, and that's because he didn't like me, and I have no idea why, because I'm a nice person, and I pay attention in class. First of all, I'm not nice to him, because...
We have to be truthful.
We know why. We know why.
You keeping the wall up.
We're talking about teachers. We're not talking about nothing else, right? Okay. Anyways, like I said, there's a reason, but we're not gonna talk about that. But if it was like somebody else, I don't think I like pay mind to it, because I don't have friends like that anyway. So, like, if I see somebody, I would say, okay, so for example, something happened in 8th grade, I think, and one of the boys were trying to fight my teacher. Mind you, I still don't like this teacher, but it's okay. So I'm just like, I was just sitting there. I was just like,
don't get involved.
That's you guys. That's you guys. Whatever happens. It's not. I'm not in it. I don't want no part in it. So I'm okay. Other than that, I don't care.
Okay. Genocide. It's interesting. Our guests are like, wow, I'm hearing from young folks right now. So go ahead, Genocide.
Like, I just some chill. That's it. But like, if they get annoying, just tell them stop. I don't got a big sword.
For some reason, something tells me you'll be along with them laughing.
She does.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're guilty of some of this? All right.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this? No?
Yeah, I think you actually... Did you know about this before I came here? When I was in 8th grade, my math teacher, he had just started at the school, and he got bullied so bad that after like 2.5 months, he left. He quit the job. And we didn't have a math teacher for a little bit.
Wow.
And so it's kind of it's a big coincidence, but I didn't say anything. The bullying was happening. Everybody was doing it. It started with maybe 1 kid, 2 kids, then 3, 5 kids. Next thing you know, the whole class is like making fun of the teacher. And I think like in this example, the fact that someone mentions their thoughts to their friend about stopping that behavior is really important, because it was just. I don't know if I was just too young at the time, but I look back on it now, and I don't think it was right. I wish I would have actually been able to like say something and stop it, because that guy probably was a pretty good math teacher, and none of us got to really learn from him.
And teachers can be bullied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something similar happened to me in 6th grade, but it was a substitute teacher, and the kids were just so mean to him that he started crying in class. It was really, really awful.
I'm a dean, so I've seen this multiple times.
That like moment has stuck with me for so long. And I did say something where I was like, I just don't think that's very respectful. But I was just a very mild-mannered kid where I just kind of let it go after a while. Or I was like, you guys, I don't think we should do this. Like, looking back at it now, obviously I feel like, I should have said more. But also I was in 6th grade and just hadn't like figured out how to like stand up for myself yet.
I feel like it has a big part in being young. Like, you're immature at the time, so it's not that big of a deal. You're not really thinking about the intake that it has on a person. But I mean, when I was young, I didn't care. Like, I was like, okay.
Students are no longer social.
No, it's pretty interesting, because a lot of times I tell kids, and this is interesting even now for the studio, even for Elijah, is because a lot of times I tell kids, what if this teacher was your mom? Right. Elijah's mother's a teacher.
Right.
Yeah. And kids wouldn't like that feeling of their mom being harassed or disrespected, because that's her work, that's her job. They chose their job to teach, and maybe that's their passion, to give back.
Yeah.
But then to come in and it's hard to teach because all the disrespect that's happening. I have my different take on that. You know, a lot of times I like to tell young folks, and I hope that you're listening to this. You know, I see these memes on Instagram and all your social media sites where it's about my money. I get my money over this or money over that. And when I tell kids, when you really think about it, if you're making this much money, would you allow somebody to stop you from making that much money when I give them a certain amount? No, I'll be on top of people. But believe it or not, this is your money. Your education is your money. Your education is what puts you in the place to get that money. So when someone's disrupting your class, they're messing with your money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like holding your peers accountable. Like right now, dude, you messing with my money right now. Because right now, this is what I need to get what I need to get, and you're disrupting right now. So a lot of times, kids have a lot of power to control that, but understand that that is your future that people in your classroom are playing with. So you have to take it personal. Because if you miss out on certain information that you really need, I'm pretty sure when they're teaching, everything is crucial, and you need that. So I just my opinion that kids should be able to hold each other accountable when it comes to respect. And then again, going back to parents, it is your job to make sure your kids are acting right before they go to school. You know, a lot of times parents get frustrated when the school is calling. Like, you're always calling me. The school's job pretty much should be just, you know, giving out education, you know, providing education. Make sure that your child is being educated. Our job as parents should be like, get to school. You better behave. I don't want to hear any comments. I don't want to, you know, and sometimes prep your kid. Get them ready for school. You know, Elijah, what do I tell you every morning when we FaceTime each other?
Think before you speak. Always think.
You know, think before you speak. Think before you act. Think before you talk.
Yeah.
You know, every morning I say this to him because I want him to be mindful of sometimes you may not mean any harm towards anyone, but sometimes you got to be mindful of some folks' feelings. Right? Think about, okay, would I hurt this person's feelings if I say this or if I act this way? So we just have to be mindful for that. We're going to go to another break, and we're going to jump right into the nitty-gritty.
No, we're not jumping right back into it. I still got some stuff to say.
Okay. Let's have it. Give me 1 second, Dylan. I apologize, Dylan, if I'm saying we're going to a commercial, but Elijah has a little bit more to say, and Tatiana has... Who you have on the line?
Eddie.
Eddie Lopez is in Florida.
Oh.
I think she just lost him.
He's gonna be mad. Why didn't you pick up? Hi.
Okay, we have Eddie Lopez lying in bed, live on the wall.
Oh, we on the show?
Yeah.
What's up, Edster?
What's the topic today?
The topic is called Building from Within. You know, how do we make our communities better? How do we make ourselves better? And basically, it's about starting within. We just can't build the exterior and the outside.
Wow, that's a good topic. I like it. I want to hear the ethical dilemma. Did we get to that yet?
Yeah, you done missed it, buddy.
What's the
It's
ethical
not
dilemma?
over.
The ethical dilemma is, if you didn't appear on the wall and you're in Florida sleeping, should we hang up on him or not?
Oh, so we gonna be like that now?
All right. Enjoy yourself out there in Florida. All right. Take it easy. Okay. Go ahead, Elijah.
All right. So, here's what I want to say. Parents, there comes the limits. I'm known for having a big mouth. I'm known for getting smart a lot. I'm known for having an attitude. So, I always watch it with my parents. I may argue with them. I may have an attitude, but I always have to watch it. Because my parents do not play that game with me. No matter how much time I would spend on the streets, no matter how much time I would spend somewhere else with, like, say, a whole different family, I would come home, I would say something that I shouldn't say. My mom would slap me so hard, I would cry. I would break down. And I'm not trying to be like that. And I'll start mumbling under my breath, and she goes, "What?" You know, I'll be like, "Nothing." And then I'll just start walking up the steps.
My brother does the same thing.
Because that's just... And so, what was I going to say?
We got a commercial break.
When you said teachers, when you said How mom's a teacher. I always watch it. I made sure nobody disrespects mom. A
lot of our Waterloo kids go to the school his mother goes
and a
to.
lot of them know me.
Yeah.
So I made sure when I'm over there, I say this. I made a reputation, if you would like to call it. But I made sure. I remember there was this one problem when there was a substitute in another class. You remember Kiki, who got expelled from like 3 different schools, same year. He was trying to fight the other teacher. My mom got in between them. I know Kiki very well. All right. Because not just that, I was good friends with Kiki before. We got into fights before together. But, like, we fought other kids together. And then I even fought him sometimes.
Bonding.
But, you know, he made sure he didn't disrespect my mom. He made sure that he didn't touch my mom.
Because of the relationship they were able to build. So we're going to go to a commercial break. Please stick around. We're not going to be gone that long. We're jumping right into the nitty-gritty. Building within.
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model.
From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. This is Edwin Desmore, live on Wooslah Radio. We're going to jump right into the main topic. And before we get into these questions, I have some questions for our guests. The main topic is about building within, which I thought it was perfect to have our guest on the show because it has a lot to do with what they do. So, Make the World Better Foundation, please let us know more about it if you can. And not just the projects they're involved with, how can people be involved? How can people donate? And how can people keep updated, be informed on the different projects and what's going on and the different things in the community, or if it's expanding across the country or worldwide?
Yeah, so Make the World Better, MTWB, we work solely in Philly right now, working on projects in West Kensington, projects in South Philly. And I think a big part of our projects is not just building a playground, it's also about engaging community members in that process. So it's our responsibility to involve and include people as much as possible in the process of the redevelopment of their public space, as much as they'd like to be involved is maybe another way to say it. And also to kind of change some processes that have existed and not worked for people in a long time, where things in their neighborhood just change and they have no power or no voice in the process. And so we try to do our best to work with community members to change that. Right now, we also look at like programs. So if we can partner at rec centers to kind of support the programs that they already have, we recognize that a lot of local leaders are already in places where they could just use a bit of support. And also at Waterloo, we have Waterloo Wednesdays a couple times a year where we partner with Edwin and the people at Waterloo to host kind of some workshops around the project cycle with youth. And I think ways that people can get involved and support is there are a few different ways. One, you can obviously donate, and you can go to our website, mtwb.org, and you could donate there. We also have special events. So annually we have a concert. We have a couple different fundraisers. We have one coming up that's an Eagles watch party on December 15th. It's going to be at Yards Brewery, and you can buy a ticket and come and have some food and some drinks and watch the Eagles beat the Redskins. And then I think the other way to get involved is to connect with us if you have special skills or skill set. I think there are a lot of opportunities to get involved at existing rec centers where maybe they could use some support in programming if you know something and you're willing to share your knowledge with the youth or the adults in the community, or if you have time to spend and you can kind of partner with someone else to maybe lead a program or even donate some services where sometimes people might need like a light fixed or something like that and they don't maybe have the electrical background. So I think there's many ways to get involved. Again, mtwb.org, and maybe if Steph builds on this, she could touch on social media as well, but please feel free to reach out, and we're very responsive, I promise.
Yeah, I would just say follow us on Facebook, Instagram. I don't think we have a Twitter. No, I don't think so. But you could probably follow Connor on Twitter as well. And then our contact information is online as well. So feel free to reach out to either Ken or I.
Great. Question. Why is it important? Why is it so important for the Make the World Better Foundation to start building within? Because a lot of times for me personally, I see there's a lot of projects out there where people just build, right? And that's it. And then they wonder why it falls apart so fast. So why is it so important? And what's the difference? I feel as though there is a big difference with Make the World Better Foundation from many others. Not bashing many others, but I'm just saying there is a big difference when they want to build not just programs, because I am part of the board, but it's real big on building relationships with the sites and the places that. Why is that so important to the foundation?
Do you want to go first?
For me, it's important because something we texted about earlier in the week, this idea of like finding beauty in a place that you might not expect. A word that stuck out to me was expectations, and thinking about what do people anticipate or what are they thinking about when they start to partner with communities, or when they start to develop something or rebuild or whatever the phrase or the word is that you want to use. There's so many good people already doing great work in every neighborhood throughout the city. But depending on maybe the level of noise coming from that neighborhood otherwise, those people probably don't get the shine that they deserve, and they don't get the support that they deserve either. So I think it's so important to have leaders who are hyper-local, because those are the people who keep a place going. They work day in and day out tirelessly to support the youth, the adults, everyone in their neighborhoods and communities. And they have been traditionally and historically disinvested. And so I think for us, it's really important that we are able to build strong relationships with those persons, recognize all the great work that they're doing, and support in whatever way we can.
So it's more than just building a playground or the physical, it's building communities.
Yeah.
Building people.
I think for me, it's like what Ken was saying, is like the people are the space. Like a building is a building but like when you put people in it, like they bring life to it, they bring culture to it. Like that's what I love about like the work that we do, is just meeting with people and like figuring out like, oh, I grew up down the street. My grandma had a birthday party here, and it's like, oh, that's like awesome. How can we incorporate that into this space and like keep that history alive and like that richness alive?
Well, I have a question for both, for you both, and also our young folks. How important it is, matter of fact, is it important to young people to learn about organizations like this or foundations? Do you think there's enough information out there for foundations like this? Because is this your first time hearing? No, because you met Connor already. Mm-hmm. But how important it is, do you believe, for other young people to be informed or participate or be involved?
I feel like there's a lot of people that want to participate in stuff like this, but they don't have the it's not put on social media a lot. It's not one of those things that you see, like you scroll through your social and you like see it. Like it's not one of those things that are like so big. And I feel like especially right now in this generation, it's more about the looks and what you have and what like Gucci and Prada and all that extra stuff. Like
Yeah.
nobody really thinks about other stuff that happens to get there, I guess you could say. Like there's I don't know how to explain it. I understand what I'm trying to say, but I don't know if you guys are gonna understand. Like foundations are something that I would want to be a part of, but maybe other people, they might say, "Oh, I want to be a part of it," but won't like actually try.
Or there's not enough info out there for
Yeah.
them to
But
take the
even-
next steps.
Yeah, but even with that, like, there's a lot of people that just like, "Oh, I want to do it, but I'm not gonna try that hard to do it."
Yeah, it's like wanting to work out.
Yeah, people don't. Yeah, people might have that interest, but don't want to pursue it.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I know when I'm on Instagram, there's always these infomercials that just pop up out of nowhere,
Right.
and you start learning about a new product. Would that be helpful in social media sites when you're scrolling through? Where, say, if you out of nowhere, boom, Make the World Foundation, there's a commercial and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like to promote it.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And it'll allow you to be like, oh, what's this about?
I think
Oh.
that would help because what teenager, what person, it basically isn't on social media like at this point.
Yeah.
Everyone's on social media. Like it's very rare to see somebody. Not very rare. I mean, I know a couple people that are on social media, but mostly everyone has social media, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right now, speaking of social media, on social media, Teresa says, well, I'm old, and I like to know about these organizations, and folks want to know more, which is good that we're having this discussion because it's just finding a way, because this is awesome. How do you think young, but now we're going to get into, because, you're 17, 16, 17.
I'm 17.
17 years old, right? So
I'm gonna be 18, but
Anna said just turned 13, right? Now, how do you feel about this? Do you feel as though folks your age should be involved or be educated, know more about the foundations and organizations that are out there that are trying to improve communities?
Well, yeah, because like most of the young people, we all know like they're all on technology. So the young, like we might not have like the resources like money and stuff, but like we could spread awareness, like to help everything.
Wow.
I didn't think about that. That's smart.
Yeah. Now, do you think young people, I think people underestimate saying young people don't want to do anything. Do you think that young people, if they have the right info, will they get together and volunteer on a project?
Oh yeah. I know a lot of people that would do that.
Really?
I feel like it depends though, because there's a lot of kids that aren't like paying attention to everything else that's happening around them. They're more focused on them and having fun and like doing what they want to do. I mean, I know a lot of kids like they're more about hanging out with their friends, going to the mall, doing this, doing that. They're not more into.
See,
like,
well, what I didn't notice,
taking part
right?
in that.
On Waterloo Playground, the foundation helped provide a basketball court. And there are days it's empty, but then there's days it's packed, right? And I wonder, how did everyone decide to show up at the basketball court at this time? And when I found out, it was these meetups. They put it out through social media. We're meeting at Waterloo to play basketball. And there's nothing negative. Literally, nobody's coming to fight, nobody's coming to do anything, but they're having meetups, these flash meetups, and then next year we're flooded. So I was thinking about how young people in many ways might be able to use something like that. Hey, we're meeting up here to volunteer that day, or we're meeting up here to support this foundation and helping build within. Do you think that young people, I'm just trying to figure it out, it's okay to say no, will be, and I think it's good for all of us to know, especially for myself also being on a foundation, would young people be motivated and, how to motivate
I feel like the more mature kids will.
Uh-oh.
I'm not talking about them.
Yeah, I know.
They're actually very mature for their age. Sometimes. But I don't know, because some people don't. Some people might have the heart for it and might want to, but again, probably won't because they're more focused on them.
Okay.
But I mean, the kids that probably go to Waterloo, like they'll probably do it if you promote it more.
Yeah. All right. How do you feel about that, Ken?
I think it's a fair answer. I appreciate the honesty. I am curious, how you think we could get more young people involved. So we have workshops. Kids come out, youth participate in the workshops. Volunteers, kids will volunteer, youth will volunteer, adults will volunteer. I'm wondering, when you're talking about wanting to hang out with their friends, how do you think we make it cool for like the group of friends to participate in an organization like this?
I would say just, I guess, explain it to them, talk more to them. I don't know, it's kind of difficult for this generation to actually take in information and actually stick to it if they're interested in it. But I would honestly just say talk about it more, promote it more, put it out there. I mean,
make it hip, make it something that they want to do. Tracy Anderson on social media stated that it's important that youth are going to be the ones sticking around the next 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's about building within. So, I mean, I'm excited about this conversation. I'm glad that we had this conversation here because youth play a big role. Like, we're doing this for them.
Yeah.
No, it's about them. So.
I mean, you can actually use that if you like that was a good thing. It reminded me that the next couple of years, the next 40, 50 years, that's gonna be our generation. Even though we're younger and we're not able to do as much, we can still take part in it because that is our future at the end of the day.
Well, we jumped into something else, and sadly we only have 2 minutes left.
Oh wow!
But time goes by pretty quick here, and I want to thank you so much, and I hope you could join us again and become part of our family and stop in any time for any other topic, not just this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I hope you had fun. It was fun having because we had fun having you on here. Just want to get back to a lot of times. I really appreciate not just because I'm on the board with the foundation, with the Make the World Better, but it's truly great people. I've been at the table with everyone. Good people, and for the young folks here that know me, I do not associate with anybody that doesn't care, or I don't want to be around people that don't really mean well. And I love to be around these folks because they are always trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together to make things happen so we can have a better future for our children and for our communities, because they do believe that it starts somewhere and they're playing their part in the world. And hopefully we can get a lot of young people involved. If you're listening again, please reach out to the foundation and get involved. And trust me, they will get back to you to do that. We're going to end this with the quote of the day. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make the tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He or she does not set out to be a leader, but become one by equality of his or her actions and the integrity of his intent. A lot of times you don't need, and I'm speaking to the young folks, a lot of times you don't need 10 or 20 kids to do something with. It starts with you stepping out. So when you're in the midst of your conversations, Tatiana, what are you doing? Oh, I volunteer with the Make the World Better Foundation. Really, can I go? And next a month down the line, you got 8 more of your friends and associates and their friends want to be a part of something.
I just want to put something out there, though. I don't have friends. I really don't. I really don't.
Well, she'll be by herself. Out there, But, and it's just about being involved. So, any last comments? All right. Well, any last comments that we missed out on?
I just wanted to say that I think we both really enjoy working at Waterloo a lot, and we feel the love from you, and we have so much love for all of you too.
Well, thank you guys.
I want to get my own quote.
Okay.
Like something I said earlier.
10 seconds.
Show. We all suffer. Everybody suffers for a reason, and we all suffer for another. Even if that person's on the other side of the world, we all suffer for another person or more.
Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is Edwin Desamore. You are listening to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. Have a good one. See you next time.